Strictly music, only music and nothing else, and I hope you guys are doing very well. Today it is a gloomy day and it's a bit groggy outside, but I'm up, I'm energized, and I'm ready to go. Plenty of content is in the works and you will be receiving that shortly. Today we are doing another album review for an album that I honestly was not going to review, though I knew it was a pretty popular one at the time, and it is a bit older, not too old, but we have a request from a subscriber here, and I do listen to my subscribers because I'm grateful for each and every one of you. So this is going to be a album review at the request of subscriber by the name of It's Me May 1440. So shout out to It's Me May 1440. We appreciate all the love and support, and she requests that I go ahead and review Glorilla's album Glorious. Now, there was no particular reason why I wasn't really going to review this. It just wasn't something that I wanted to do. But let's go ahead and get into it. And you know how we do. Track for track, bar for bar, line for line. So let's go ahead and go right at it. Now, track number one, the intro. This is a very old school style beat for the intro that I like a lot. Glow quickly showcases a bit of rapping ability as she speaks on her rise to stardom, so you can also appreciate the subject matter as she comes in with an intro stating that she's back with a vengeance. Very, very, very solid intro, and I like that a lot. Now, track two, Hold On. This track has some serious bounce to it, so it definitely wakes you up from the previous track, so we're starting off early with the bops. However, I have heard better from Glow in the past in terms of these upbeat style, bounce heavy tracks that just get you moving. I wouldn't say this is one of her best ones, though it is not a bad track by any standard or metric. It's still good, still has bop to it. When it comes to those upbeat tracks to get you moving, to get the girls dancing, I've heard better from Glow, but it's still a good track, so we're not going to slight it in any way. It's still good. Now, track three, Procedure, featuring Lotto. Lotto and Glow have a great chemistry. It feels like the project is starting to take off after this track. I'm a big fan of this track. The beat on this is nasty, so big ups to production. You know we like to shout production out as well because they work just as hard as the artist, sometimes more so. Lotto does not waste any time as she gets what she came for, and she goes right at the beat. The chemistry of these two is, we know how they get when they work together. The chemistry of these two is already spoken for. So this is a very, very, very solid track, and it comes in early and it sets the tone. So I like that. We're starting to kind of leave the ground a little bit, and we're starting to take flight. So I like track three a lot. Now, track four, TGIF. Track four is track two turned up to a 10. So what track two attempted to be, that's what track four truly is, turned all the way up. So Hold On is a diet version of TGIF, and track four is a banger. It's a banger, and it's a banger. I've heard stronger bops from Glow, and one song later she showcases that as we see an increase of the energy, and it just takes the project further off the ground. So like I said, on track two, I've heard stronger bops from her, and then one track later on track four, we hear a stronger bop. So track four and track three, that's when we start to leave the ground and we're starting to get a bit of airtime. So I'm liking the direction. At this point, I'm liking the direction that the project is going in. Now, track five, What You Know About Me, featuring Sexy Red. Glow is joined by Sexy Red, who adds a great deal to this track as they go at the iconic Wipe Me Down beat. Lil Boozy instrumental. So that's always fun. We know what that instrumental is. It speaks for itself, and these women they go at it, and they did it a bit of justice. This is a fun spin on a well-known instrumental, and it really encompasses these last three tracks, like track 3, 4, 5. It really encompasses those. It's very fun, smashes, get on your feet, get moving. So I like these a lot. I like those tracks a lot. We have some air underneath us now. We are officially flying, ladies and gentlemen. Now, track 6, Stop Playing. Glow changes the tempo a bit on this track with a much slower beat. I wouldn't say this is her strong suit. However, she does display her range a bit on this track, letting us know her bag is deeper than we may have thought. And I can always appreciate diversity from an artist, especially when showcased on an album. So big ups to her for trying to dive into that bag a little bit and give us something that we may not have expected on track 6, Stop Playing. Now, track 7, Don't Deserve, featuring Money Long. Shout out Money Long. Money Long makes an appearance on this track. Not a huge fan of Money's contribution on this track. I have definitely heard way stronger features from her, but I do like the subject matter on this track. I like what they're talking about a lot. Definitely one of the more meaningful tracks on the project at this point. Probably the most meaningful track so far, and it seems that the project is taking a more meaningful turn. And again, I can appreciate the diversity and Glow stepping out of her conventional square. So I do like what this track represents. I've just heard way better features from Money Long, and this one really isn't up to snuff with what she's been doing this year, but shout out to her. She did add what she could to this track, and the subject matter is very meaningful, so we can't take away. We have to sometimes absorb what they're trying to say, especially on these larger bodies of work. And that was track 7, Don't Deserve. Now track 8, Rain Down on Me, featuring Kirk Franklin, Maverick City MuZik, Kiara Sherrod, and Chandler Moore. Joined by Kirk Franklin and Maverick City MuZik. This is a collab I would have never expected. However, it works as Glow cleans up her delivery and subject matter for a track that is deserving of a Kirk Franklin feature. I like this track a lot, showing just how deep Glow's bag is. And this track proves it is much deeper than we have previously thought, as well as the track before that and as well as the track before that. Glow is showing her range here, and I can enjoy that. Originally, I would not have thought something like this from Glorilla. I got this track as top 5 so far on the project for that reason alone, just based on the diversity and being able to clean up your subject matter and delivery enough for an artist as clean cut as Kirk Franklin. That shows a love for the game of music and hip hop, and I can appreciate that. So this track is definitely in my top 5 so far, and it will remain so regardless as we continue onward throughout this project. So big ups to that. Big ups to Kirk as well for even being open-minded enough for a collab such as this, because we know Glorilla's usual subject matter and audience and her usual content. So big ups to him for opening his mind to that. Big ups to Maverick, big ups to Kiara Sherrod and Chandler Moore. I like that a lot. That is top 5. Now, track 9, Glow's Prayer. This track is also very enjoyable. Easily one of, if not my personal favorite on the project. Personally, just my personal, something that I would play in my personal time. Glow continues to show her affection for God while she speaks on struggling to maintain just throughout life. She also still maintains that aggressive delivery while she's showing her affection for God, and I am thoroughly impressed with Glow on this track and the one before it. I can officially say her bag is deep. It's deeper than what we realized. Now track 10, How I Look, featuring Megan Thee Stallion. At the tail end of the project, as we approach the tail end of the project, we get right back into that high-octane Glow, joined by Megan Thee Stallion, and their chemistry speaks for itself. We already know that they make smashes when they come together. Big fan of this beat. Shout out to production. Easily one of the best beats on the project so far, if not the best beat, period. So big ups to production on this one. I like this a lot. So I'm finding these tracks enjoyable. I'm finding this project enjoyable. Now track 11, I Ain't Going. The beat on this is dope. Again, production. Shout out to production. So on that front, it follows the trope of the previous track. However, this one is definitely one of the weaker songs on the project. Subject matter is interesting, but the overall song is very lax. So I got number 11, I Ain't Going, as potentially the weakest song on the entire album. But big ups to production. We will never slight production and or engineering. They did their thing on that one. It's just not a great song. Now track 12, Step, featuring Bossman D-Lo. Glow is joined by Bossman D-Lo, who we know is as hot as fish grease. This track doesn't really stick out much to me either. However, it is vintage Glow, joined by D-Lo, so you can't go wrong. Not a bad track by any metric. Nothing particularly exceptional, though, about this track here. It's solid. It's something to fill up the space, and you can't go wrong with Bossman D-Lo. His name alone will bring in the numbers, but it's nothing really to write home about with track 12. Now track 13, Let Her Cook, another solid Glow track. The tail end of this project does not have the same strength as the beginning of the project. These last few tracks seem like reinvented renditions of tracks that were shown at the start of the project. Not bad, but we have seen better Glow. These tracks are weaker when measured against the previous ones. So when we had that stretch in the beginning of those 3 songs that were just hot, hotter. We got a stretch towards the tail end of this project where these songs are good, but when you compare them against other songs in the project, like, it just doesn't hold the same water. Now, Let Her Cook is good. Is it better than What You Know About Me? Is it better than TGIF? Is it better than a song with Megan? Not really, but it's good, so it's not bad. These songs aren't bad, but they're just, it's a step down almost from where we came from. These last 3 tracks, track 11, 12, and 13, kind of raises the bar a bit higher, but we've heard better Glow. Now track 14, I Love Her, featuring T-Pain. This track is very refreshing and is definitely a much needed change in the direction to help close out the project. So this came at the perfect moment. We could not afford to end the project on the note that we would have ended it in if this song was not present. So this was very necessary. Joined by the legendary T-Pain, this track was needed here to help close out the project strong. We needed this. This is the second to last song on the project, and we need this to help slam the door. So this came in right on time. Very, very refreshing. This is a glass of water at the end of this project that we needed. Now track 15, Queen of Memphis, featuring Friday. Reminiscent of the previous track, joined by Friday, this track helps close the door on Glow's first studio album. Definitely good coming after the track with T-Pain. The placement on this was great. The tail end of the project needed these 2 tracks in concession to put a stamp on an overall solid project. So these 2 tracks back to back were needed to slam the door because we did lose a bit of momentum towards the end. So big ups to Friday on that one. I like that track a lot, and big ups to T-Pain. So what do we think overall of this Glorilla project? I think it was solid. I don't think it's really much to write home about. I do like how she showed her diversity. I think she established herself as a legitimate artist and not just an artist of singles and or hits. She did have a couple bops on there. She did have a couple hits on there. I do like the song that came after the one with Kirk a lot. I think, as I said, that may just be my personal favorite. Track 9 overall, so track 9, Glow's Pair, that may be my personal favorite. Overall, this is a great project. I like the diversity. I like that she's able to get into a pocket of prayer, and it shows that as above, so below. She does have that quote unquote wild, outlandish girl type of demeanor where she's wearing, what she's wearing, and she's saying what she's saying, and she's speaking how she's speaking, but then she also turns into the God-fearing woman, and she shows range. This album helps show the range of her personality as well. So I do like this project a lot. I think it is a solid project. It's a solid project. It's not altogether exceptional, but it's solid. It's not a bad project by any stretch of the imagination. I'll be giving maybe one or two of these songs a bit more burn, and it's Glorilla. It's hard not to hear her when you go outside or when you hit the radio. So let's not act like we're not going to hear these songs. Let's not act like we haven't been hearing these songs. I'm late to the party. Shout out to It's Me My 1440 for getting me to review this and giving it and getting it out to you guys. And I'm always available and open for any album review requests, old and or new. It can be something from 20 years ago. It could be something from 20 minutes ago. Just hit me. Let me know what you want to hear, or get in the comments, or just tell me what you want to hear. So shout out to Glorilla on this glorious project. It's solid project. Not a bad project by any stretch of the imagination, and I did enjoy it a bit. Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. Like, comment, subscribe, get at me. Let me know what you want to hear. Let me know how you feel about this project. I know I'm a bit late, but talk to me. Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. Get at me. I'm here for it all.